Good afternoon, this is Trader Tim, eminimind.com, Monday market analysis video to kick off this week. It's the 15th of July, 2019, and we've approached our negative 23 target here on the E-mini S&P on the daily chart. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see well above the highs from May, and the pullback that we're sort of rallying off of down here at 27.38. That has a target up at 30.58. So if I zoom back in, we're about 20, about 30 points away or so, 30 to 40 points away from kind of inching up to the target. We'll just call it a 30.60. So we'll call it a solid 40 points. But anything up to like 30.50 could be a little bit of a magnet. And then as we get closer to 30.58, if we don't get all the way there, close is close enough. So I just kind of give it a range. If we look at the next retracement from lows to highs of today, currently that puts us at 29.93, and I'm just using the trading hours only. If I were to turn on the overnight session, you can see it's pretty close to the same. And even the prior retracement as well, not a lot of variation. We did peak a little bit higher in the overnight back on the 5th. And so you can use the overnight as sort of a potential indication of, okay, we made a new high in the overnight. Let's see if we go there intraday. And then I just turn that off, and because that's where most of the volume is occurring, is in the trading hours only session. So in terms of today's trading, we gapped up. I'll go to a 5-minute chart. We gapped up and sold off immediately, and you see that a lot at highs, gap up at highs. But that first candle sold off pretty much into yesterday's range, and then there really wasn't much room for it to go to fill the gap. So there wasn't a whole lot to do right off the open. There was a little double bottom here. We had a low tick, and it set up in a nice little long for a few points. It was actually a 30.16, and it went as high as about 30.19, 1875s, with a couple swing lows in there to trail. Then we were at the halfway back of the day, just taking from highs of the day down to lows of the day, and didn't really get a great setup. That low tick was still in play, and drawing from highs down to the low after we broke the very first swing low. It did tag the 75. Like the 50 is 30.17, so if you round down, that gives you a 30.1675. But in most cases, it needs to trade through to get a fill, so I didn't get any order filled there. And then we just kind of hovered around the bottom of the first 30-minute range. It was kind of turned into a little bit of a blah day, and we had a couple of low ticks down here, but didn't really line up perfectly. The 46, and then over here, I think it was a 47. Yeah, was the actual low. So things didn't really set up too well for taking any fades. I mean, if you drew from that low that we made where we just broke lows by a few ticks up to highs, it did trade at the 50. Got close to the negative 23 target, but didn't really get anything after that. And that was just kind of the story of the rest of the day. Just kind of moseyed on sideways, nothing too exciting. But we've got a Fed announcement in 2 weeks, and really looking pretty tight and strong on the daily chart. So this coming back to where the market would have to go in order to change trend. I always come back to the most recent major swing low. So that's currently the 9th, and its low is 29.6575. And we would need to break that swing low before I would consider, getting overly bearish in the daily chart. The first break, you could say, in a trend, Like the first thing that's going to break prior to not even the 61.8 or the swing low is the daily candles low. So if you look on this move up, every single low for the following day was higher than the low for the prior day. Like we haven't broke the prior candle's low on this run up. So that would be the first thing that would indicate a potential reversal. Then we come down, we break the 61.8, and then we would come down and break the prior swing low. And so those three things are always what I'm looking for when, whether it's a daily chart or an intraday chart, when you're looking for a trend change, those are the three things that you need to, initiate at the very start just by breaking the daily candles low and then breaking those bigger levels to sort of accelerate us to the downside, then look for, some sort of a bounce and then sell that bounce if it's a short. The opposite would just be true for longs. So that's all I've got for you today. Tomorrow we'll be doing our back on our regularly scheduled Tuesday trading room. You can check that out in the morning. Just head over to emoneymind.com/VIP. Thanks everyone and have a great week of trading.